Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you've never been here before, my name is Toden, and if you have, thank you for coming back. Today I am going to be doing a new video, as you can see, and it is actually going to be talking about outgrowing friendships. Yeah, somebody had to say it. Somebody had to say something about it. I'm going to be talking about 5 different ways to cope if you are going through friendship breakups, friendship breaks, or just outgrowing friendships in general, and some things that I've done to help me either revive the friendship or to just let go and have peace and be like, that was a chapter, that was a lesson or a blessing, and to move on with my life. So yeah, let's get into it. I always like to start with personal lived experiences so that it gives you guys some perspective about where I'm coming from. I know that they are very uncomfortable and just kind of, it's very awkward to even talk to someone about the fact that you think the friendship is maybe not on a stable place, that it's maybe feeling a little rocky right now, and to just be able to move on or to fix the friendship if that is the route that you want to go through. For me, my experience with outgrowing friendships has actually come from the fact that I moved from one continent to another. I moved from Nigeria to Canada when I was 14, like I've said in like 100 of my videos. I haven't even made 100 videos. That's a joke, but anyways, moving from Nigeria to Canada, I lost contact with a lot of my friends, and I was forced to move on without necessarily having closure. Like, you don't really think that the last time you see your friends is kind of like the last time you're ever gonna see them in situations like that. I haven't been back to Nigeria in 10 years, so since I've been here, it's not even 10 years, it's about 11 years now. Who's trying to finance my trip? Let's go, Nigeria 2021. But yeah, so for me, it was that I had just moved to a new place and I didn't have contact with my friends. The only way I had contacts was that I had a contact book, like one of those address books, I think they call them, where you go by someone's last name or first name and then you flip it and you go in and you check out their their address and phone numbers. Have you guys ever had one of those books where you can just flip it and you see that person's name, telephone number, address, and like it'll have email too as well, right? So that was the only way that I knew how to contact my friends. And funny story, I had Facebook, but my friends back in Nigeria didn't have a Facebook at the time, so there was literally no way I could contact them. The only way that I could contact them was by calling them. I had actually called Nigeria when we were here. I think we were here for about a week, and I had called our neighbor, like our neighbor compound, and I had a crush on this guy there. I don't even think it was a crush, it was just like a budding, like it was a friendship that was maybe turning into something, but it wasn't really turning into anything. But it was definitely, I think I'm pretty sure I liked him, and I didn't even like him out of my own volition. I think it was because people were always saying like putting us together in a way, and it kind of tricked my brain to liking him, I swear. But anyways, I started kind of liking him, and I remember I was here for about a week and I actually was missing him, and I was like, oh, I should probably like reach out and call, since I'm gonna call him, because he was in the compound right beside us, and I was always close friends with his sister. I would consider us like almost best friends. I was like, might as well just talk to everybody, you know, kill several birds with one stone. So I called and they picked up the phone and we were all talking. You guys, I was talking to the whole compound. And if you don't know what a compound is basically like when people live in one place and they have like rooms on the side type thing, and you could like talk to everyone in the whole entire compound. So tell me why I was talking to these people in the whole entire compound. I was like, hi, talking to everybody. Mind you, I didn't know that they had like calling cards. Like I said, I had only been here for like a week, and yo, this story, like reliving it, it's funny, but it's also painful because sometimes life is just weird. Called the whole entire compound, spoke to my crush, spoke to sisters, spoke to the little kids in the compound, and the phone hung up for some reason. So I called back, and it was like a service provider lady, and she was like, oh, do you still want to be connected back to Nigeria? And I was like, hell yeah, I want to be connected back to Nigeria. She connects me to Nigeria. I go on another, like just talking to people for such a long time, and it was great until the end of the month when the bill came in and my dad opened like the TELUS bill. I don't know if it was TELUS, but I'm thinking maybe it was. He opened the bill, it was like $474. And he was like, who called Nigeria? Please. I knew it was me. I didn't call with a calling card. So my mom called me to the side. She's like, I know you called Nigeria. And I was like, I called Nigeria. And she was like, why would you do that? Why would you do that without telling me? I was like, oh, I just wanted to talk to my friends because I was missing them. And she's telling me, like, if you ever want to call Nigeria, you have to get a calling card, blah, 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 blah. And I just remember my dad being so mad because it's very unexpected. Like, we were new in the country and now your daughter is racking up $474 on a bill while you're still trying to like figure out what is going on in this new country. So I definitely felt bad. And actually I never called Nigeria. Like, that was it. I just never called. I never spoke with anyone. So I was in that way forced to outgrow those friendships and connections because I just didn't have access to them anymore. People weren't really using email at the time and they didn't really have Facebook. So that was one experience of me having to outgrow friendships and make peace with everything. And the second experience is just being here and just realizing that some friendships just don't align with my core values and having to, you know, when they do this and the person just disappears. Yeah, that's not a good thing to do. I had to learn. But anyways, let's get to the video. Oh my god, I've been rambling for like 3 hours, but yeah. So the first thing on this list is to communicate. If you're in a place where you have access to internet or that you're in close proximity to that person, the best thing to do is communicate with them and be like, if you are comfortable enough to express the fact that you are feeling distant from that friendship, just reach out to them and be like, hey, I feel like we're drifting apart. Let's do something. Let's hang out. Let's do brunch. I love brunch. Let's do brunch. Let's do something and go from there. Sometimes I feel like people don't even realize that they are drifting apart from people and that they are outgrowing relationships because sometimes life just hits you and it's just like, oh, I don't have time. Genuinely not even having time for those friendships. It's not even about being mean or not wanting to be friends with that person. It's just because you don't have time and enough time has passed that now it's awkward for you to reach out to that person and say anything. So it's just weird and it feels easier to just let it go and accept that that friendship is no more. So reaching out and talking to that person is a good idea and being like, let's do something. And for me, I would always reach out to people if I feel like we're drifting apart, low key, but high key. I have a 2 reach out thing that I do where it's like, I'll reach out twice if I feel like that person is like, oh, I'm busy, or they're just not seeming too enthusiastic. I just let it go and make my peace with it and move on, because maybe they just don't want to be your friend anymore. Maybe after 5 years they're like, okay, I'm tired of being your friend now, time to move on. And it hurts, of course it hurts, but at the same time things like that happen and you have to come to that place where you have peace with yourself, knowing that you've tried and you've done the reaching out and you've made the effort to continue the friendship, and now it's on them. The ball is in their court to do whatever they want to do with it. If they decide to just let it go and let go of a friendship, that's fine. That's literally fine. You will always have many friends in your lifetime. Don't even stress out about it. And I also feel like sometimes, I'm not even making excuse for other people, but sometimes people are just maybe sad or stressed or maybe even depressed and they don't want other people to know about how they're feeling. So they tend to push people away and would just rather be by themselves or be on their own. I feel like it depends from case to case as to why sometimes people are withdrawing from friendships. It might not just be because they are outgrowing friendships, but because they are going through something in their life that maybe they don't feel comfortable sharing with you. And you can't force people to open up to you and force them to tell you what hurts, because that is them being vulnerable. And for me, I just never want to force someone to be vulnerable with me, because if you have someone who is vulnerable with you, then they are in some way entrusting you with so much, and it is a huge responsibility to know people's secrets or know things about people that they wouldn't just tell anyone. So I don't want to force anyone to be vulnerable with me, and if they need their space, you should be able to make peace with the fact that they're not at the place right now that they can be the best friend to you that you need, and just give them their space for them to figure out whatever is going on after you've communicated the way that you feel to them. The second thing on this list is to try to set up activities that you guys could do together and that you guys maybe previously enjoyed in the past. Maybe it is hiking. I always bring up hiking because I love hiking, but maybe it's hiking, maybe it's going on bicycle rides, maybe it's going and getting ice cream together. Suggest things that maybe would help you guys reignite that friendship. It could be classes in the past that you guys enjoyed going to, and you can be like, yeah, let's join this class for the summer. And that way, Tuesdays and Thursdays, you get to see them and you get to be in this class with them. And that in some way would try to reignite the friendship and help it to not die in a way. But I also feel like when it comes to friendships or even relationships, I always feel like it should always be a two-way street. It shouldn't just be you constantly trying to see this person and to make plans with them, but they should also be putting in the effort to schedule things with you and also wanting to see you. I feel like this also goes for relationships. Like, you don't want to be in a relationship where it's always you that's making the plans, it's always you that is just doing everything. You also want that person to want to be in that relationship with you. All right, so say you've communicated with this person, you have tried to make plans with them or schedule activities to do with them, and it's still not working. You have to then say, F I'm just kidding. I'm joking, don't do that. Or maybe you could, I mean, no, I'm kidding. I feel like this is the part where you actually have to excuse yourself from the friendship and take time to reflect and just give that person space. And to also look at yourself and do some self-assessment and be like, what did I do wrong? I'm not saying you did anything wrong or that you were wrong in the situation, but it's always good to take some time to reflect on your own actions within a friendship or even within a relationship. And that's another thing that I think about, where it's like, whenever comes off as being so judgy, but whenever people jump from like relationship to relationship, it's like you didn't even take the time to reflect on the relationship that just ended. Given that sometimes people are already checked out from, say, friendships or relationships before they move on, at the same time, it sounds so weird to me. Like, can you imagine having a best friend for like years and then you guys have a fallout and then 2 seconds later they're best friends with someone else? It doesn't add up. It literally doesn't add up, even if one person is checked out or whatever. It just looks weird. And I feel like it does for relationships too, where it's like someone just jumps. It's like, whoop, whoop, monkey vining to another relationship or monkey vining to another friendship without doing some reflection. For me personally, I like to reflect on what I could have done differently in that friendship. Did I say anything that actually hurt that person? I feel like that's something for me that I'm always so scared that I would say something and I would just be like, just kidding, but the other person definitely did not think it was a just kidding. Sometimes I even feel, I wouldn't say scared, but I feel more cautious when I'm making jokes that I'm not affecting someone or I'm not like touching on something that triggers them. And sometimes that is something that makes someone else outgrow a relationship or a friendship with you, because they feel hurt and they don't necessarily know how to explain to you that they're hurt because they don't want you to take it personally. Like, it's all a whole cycle of not wanting to hurt someone's feelings but still ending up hurting that person's feelings. For me, I try to reflect on what I did, or when maybe I said something that I wasn't sure of, or maybe I just wasn't there for that person enough as much as they would have wanted me to be there for them. So reflecting on the things that I could have done differently, and that hopefully when I go into another friendship or I'm making friends with someone else, I don't repeat my same mistakes. Like, I never want to be that person who's toxic in a friendship and is just unaware of the fact that they're being toxic. I would hope that if someone sees me being even slightly toxic, they can just drag me to the side and be like, girl, you're being problematic. And I can be like, no, I'm not being problematic, but I'll go home and I think about how maybe that was problematic to that person. Yeah, definitely doing some reflection and reflecting on what could have been done to maybe change the outcome of the friendship, and to also help you move on from the friendship if that person is still in that place where they're like, I'm not forgiving this, like I'm not going to let this slide, because people are entitled to the way that they feel, and if they decide to not let certain things slide, the most that you can do is apologize and reflect on your behavior and what you've done. I know I said don't monkey vine from one relationship to another or one friendship to another, but I also think it is important to have other friends or other friend groups. I know sometimes people are like, they just want this one friend group and it's like us together forever. Okay, why am I being so sarcastic? I'm literally kidding. I'm in such a good mood today. It's weird, but let's just go with it. I feel like it's good to have different friendships, because having different friendships means that you're not being clingy on one friendship or being codependent on a friendship, because being codependent to a friendship is also something that kind of makes people withdraw or outgrow a friendship quicker, because they always feel like they have to be there for you, they have to be responsible for you, they can't go make other friends without you being jealous that they're making other friends, or that they don't trust that the connection that they have with you as a friend is solid enough for you to be able to go make different friends and them not feel threatened by the other friends that you have. So I feel like that is something that definitely can cause someone to outgrow friendship, because I don't want to be the kind of person who's like constantly reassuring someone, especially if we've been in this for a minute now. It's not like I just met you yesterday or like 2 weeks ago. I've known you for a second now. I feel like in friendships I don't really need reassurance, but I also do understand the other side of people who in friendships, they do need reassurance because of the kind of friends that they've had before. I would try my best to reassure them in that kind of situation, so I don't outgrow friendship or don't make them feel like they're left out of the friendship. I would try to like invite them to come. As much as I don't like mixing friendships together, I would still try to invite them to come do things with my other friends so that they can see that it's good vibes. Every time I say the word vibes, I actually want to punch myself. But it's true. And just like inviting them and helping them be a part of either my family or my friends, or just like random things that I do to give them that reassurance. But at the end of the day, you can only reassure someone so much. They also have to do that work on themselves, where they're able to feel confident in a friendship and maybe confident in a relationship too. And I also feel like by making other friends, you necessarily don't feel clingy to that one friend, because you also have other friends. And it's not like you're using other people for friendship as an insurance policy. That's so messed up. But generally, like going out into the world and making friends and being friends with people, I don't see anything wrong with that, as long as they're good people and they're focused on their own selves and, you know, all that good stuff. So I don't see a problem with making other friends and being friends with other people, but also having like your main friends that you hang with and you chill with. And also knowing that you're making those friendships, if you are outgrowing that friend or that whole friend clique or friend gang, whatever, that you're not making new friends to spite your old friends. There's no reason in doing that. And I feel that when you do something to spite someone else, it actually makes you not see the other people for truly who they are, or what their intentions for you or the friendship that you have with them is, because you're so focused on band-aiding that wound that you from that friend or that friend group by another friend, and not really taking the time to reflect on the friendship and what could have gone wrong. So that when you are actually making friends, you've done the reflection, you've done the self-assessment, and that you are ready to make new friends from a healthy place, not from a desperate place. Because if you go and make friends from a desperate place, they're gonna take you for idiot. You heard it here first. You literally heard it here first. They're gonna take you for idiot. People can smell when other people are being desperate. I've said this so many times. Desperation has a smell. Desperation has a smell. I'm telling you, it really does. So you don't want to go make friends from that place of desperation or just trying to cover that wound. And also, when you go and make friends with another group because you're hurting from that friendship that you didn't resolve, or that outgrowing of that friendship that never got resolved, the other group is going to be curious and be like, why are you no longer friends with that person? And now you end up talking about that friend to the new group, which doesn't make you look good, because then they're going to be like, okay, what's going to happen if she falls out with us and goes and makes friends with another group? Now she's going to talk about us to that other friend group. Are you seeing what I'm doing here? Or say if you go and make friends with a new group, and let's say the old group or the old friend is now jealous and they're like now trying to like reach out and talk to you, and then you go back to that friend, but you've already talked about that friend to the other people. Yeah, it's gonna be a mess. Even talk about one friend to another friend. Sometimes it's not even that you're doing it because you don't like that person, but it's because you're hurt and you haven't actually talked to that person and been like, this is the issue at hand. And low-key, I'm just gonna throw it here, with everything that's happening on YouTube, we can kind of see how it's so important for us, like if we're actually going through either like a problem with our friends, or if we're outgrowing friends, it's so much more better for you to reach out and talk to that person than for you to try to be friends with someone else, and then they could be spreading like rumors and lies for you to like start hating that person, when you could have just done the easier thing at this point, because it would have been the easier thing for you to reach out to them and for them to hopefully communicate with you and tell you what was wrong, as opposed to you going to this friend group, them bad-mouthing your friend, and then you have this extra hate for them. It would have just been easier for you to talk to your friend, as opposed to you going to this group, they've told you all these bad things about your friend, and now it's like everything you feel is compounded because of what you've heard. They're soothing your ego, but you still have the problem with your friend where you guys are still not getting along. It's still awkward. The last thing on this tip is to make peace with yourself. At this point, you've done your reflection, you've done your communication, you've tried to make group hangouts, you've made new friends, and you're still outgrowing the friendship, or the friendships now even seems more distanced than it was when it initially started to feel distanced. The only thing that you can do is make your peace with it. Sometimes people are in our lives for a reason, for a season, for a blessing, for different reasons. And the most important thing is just for you to make peace with it and know that you actually genuinely did your best to reach out to that person, to try to continue the friendship, to try to revive the dead friendship, or the friendship that was already dying. And just know that you can move on with your life. You can have new friends without feeling guilty for the old friendship that didn't work out. And that it is what it is. Like, it really is what it is. Sometimes you outgrow people. It's not because of anything they did or because of anything you did. Sometimes you just outgrow people, and that's just that. Yeah, that is pretty much it for this video. I hope you guys liked it. If you did, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what kind of videos you guys would love to see. I will always link my Instagram in the description box if you guys want to reach out and suggest videos or topics that you would like for me to cover. And yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. I hope you guys really enjoyed it. Bye!